What's going on? YouTube, listen up, young elder gang. This is Ted Strokes at you with another banger. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. Fam, I hope this video get at least 100,000 likes in this video. You will find history definitions, scripture information, and best of all, what we Americans have been deprived of from the beginning. The truth, keep in mind this content used in this video is intended for entertainment, educational and informational purposes only, and does not constitute legal advice or create an attorney-client relationship. You should not act upon any information on this video without seeking the advice of a competent attorney for your specific situation. We will give you the total truth as we best understand it today. Be sure to hit that like button, young elder gang, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, hit that bell, and don't forget to check back with us every day for new content. Let's talk about habeas corpus, an ancient, crucial legal protection that has stood the test of time for centuries. This principle is what keeps the government from locking people up without a good reason, acting as a powerful shield against abuse of power. In plain English, habeas corpus is your right to demand that a judge review why you're being held, making sure there's a valid legal basis for your detention. If you're in jail, you, or someone acting on your behalf, like a family member or lawyer, can file a petition for a writ of habeas corpus. This is a formal request to the court, asking them to step in and take a closer look at your situation. Filing this petition forces the government to come forward and justify your detention in open court, under the watchful eye of a judge. Remember, this isn't just an appeal of your conviction or sentence. It's a brand new case where you claim your imprisonment itself is illegal because your fundamental constitutional rights were violated in some way. Think of it as arguing that the whole game was rigged from the start, not just that you lost a single round or made a bad move. Habeas corpus is a safeguard for everyone, a line in the sand that says the government can't hold people indefinitely without cause. It's a fundamental part of a free society, protecting individuals from being disappeared or forgotten in the system. In many ways, it's the legal system's emergency brake, a last resort tool to stop injustice in its tracks when all else fails. You hope you never need to use it, but you'd never want to live in a country without it. It's a right that protects not just the accused, but everyone's freedom. Simple in concept, but as you'll see, far from simple in practice. The process can be complex, and the stakes are incredibly high, but understanding habeas corpus is the first step in protecting your rights. Habeas corpus is Latin for, "you shall have the body," a court order demanding a jailer bring a prisoner to court to justify their detention. This principle dates back to the Magna Carta in 1215 and is so vital it's written into the U.S. Constitution. The suspension clause says habeas can only be suspended in times of rebellion or invasion. Historically, it was the main tool to stop kings from jailing people on a whim. In America, it's a cornerstone of freedom, a shield against unchecked government power. When you hear habeas corpus, think the law's way of saying, "Prove it, government." You can't file a habeas petition just because you hate prison food or because you're unhappy with daily life behind bars. It's reserved for serious claims, like when your custody violates the Constitution or federal law, not just minor complaints. Common grounds include ineffective assistance of counsel, where your lawyer failed you at a critical moment, prosecutorial misconduct, like hiding evidence, coerced confessions, or unconstitutional sentences handed down by the court. The bar is high. You must show a fundamental rights violation, not just that you disagree with the verdict or outcome. Habeas isn't a do-over. It's a last resort spotlight on major legal errors that could change everything. It's your final hope when the system has truly failed and all other options are gone. There are two main types of habeas petitions, state and federal. Most convictions start in state court, so you must first exhaust all state remedies, arguing your case through every level of state court. Only after the state's highest court says no, can you file a federal habeas petition. In federal court, you argue your state conviction violates the U.S. Constitution. Federal courts aren't there to fix every state mistake, only federal constitutional violations. If your claim is just about state law, federal judges won't hear it. But if your federal rights were violated, now you have their attention. The path is narrow and full of procedural traps. Getting from a state cell to a federal courtroom is a long, tough journey. In 1996, Congress passed AEDPA, making federal habeas petitions much harder. You have just 1 year after your conviction becomes final to file in federal court. Miss the deadline, even by a day, and your case is dead. The standard is tough. You must show the state court's decision was not just wrong, but unreasonably so under Supreme Court law. New evidence is almost never allowed unless it was presented in state court. AEDPA is a maze of deadlines and barriers, protecting state judgments even when they're flawed. Still want to file? Here's how. This guide is for those who are truly committed to navigating the complex legal system, even if it feels overwhelming. First, make sure you've exhausted all possible state remedies and are within the crucial 1-year limit. Missing this deadline can be detrimental to your case. Obtain the federal habeas form, specifically 28 U.S.C. § 2254. Fill it out with precision, detailing exactly which federal rights you believe were violated during your trial or conviction. It's essential to list every step you took in state court proceedings. Attach all relevant documents, including transcripts and exhibits, to support your claims. File your petition in the federal district where you're currently held or where you were convicted. This is a critical step in the process. There's a $5 filing fee, but if you can't afford it, you can request to file as a pauper. This involves filling out a fee waiver application at the courthouse. Serve the petition on both the warden and the state attorney general. This ensures that all parties are officially notified of your legal action. The court will review your petition. If it's incomplete or lacks merit, it will be dismissed without further consideration. If your petition survives initial review, the state will respond. You may then have the opportunity to reply to their arguments, which is a crucial part of the process. Most cases are decided based solely on the paperwork submitted. Hearings are rare, so ensure your documents are thorough and compelling. A federal habeas corpus for false imprisonment is a legal action where an incarcerated individual challenges their detention in federal court, arguing that their confinement violates their constitutional rights. While false imprisonment is a civil tort, a federal habeas corpus petition is used after a conviction or sentence to argue that the process leading to confinement was unconstitutional, rather than to prove innocence of the crime itself. The petition argues that the detention is unlawful, and the court can order release if the petition is successful. Key points of a federal habeas corpus petition for false imprisonment. Challenging the process, not the conviction itself. A habeas petition doesn't retry the facts of the case. Instead, it argues that the conviction or sentence was a result of a violation of federal constitutional rights, such as ineffective assistance of counsel or prosecutorial misconduct. Grounds for petition. A petition could argue that a detention is a result of constitutional violations, such as denial of a fair trial, unlawful or discriminatory grounds for imprisonment, confinement without due process. Federal court jurisdiction. A federal habeas petition can be filed by someone convicted in a state court if they believe their federal constitutional rights were violated. The petition is filed against the state or federal agent holding the person in custody. Exhausting other remedies. A petitioner must typically exhaust all available direct appeals in the state court system before they can file for a federal habeas corpus. The Great Writ. Habeas corpus is a fundamental right and a safeguard against arbitrary government power, often referred to as the Great Writ. It requires the government to justify the detention or release the prisoner. Most habeas petitions are denied. Far more are rejected than accepted, and for many, the process feels like a long shot. The hurdles are high and the odds are long. Courts demand strict procedures, and the law sets a tough standard for success. But habeas corpus matters because it's the last backstop against injustice, a final safeguard when all other doors have closed. It's how wrongful convictions are overturned, giving innocent people a second chance at life and reuniting families torn apart by error. Unconstitutional laws are struck down, ensuring that no one is punished under rules that violate our most basic rights. And the system is held accountable, with every case reminding officials that justice must be fair and transparent. Even when rarely successful, its very existence keeps prosecutors, defense lawyers, and judges honest, knowing their actions may one day be reviewed. It's a powerful incentive to respect constitutional rights from the start, shaping how cases are handled and how laws are enforced. The Great Writ is more than a legal tool. It's a symbol of liberty, a promise that freedom cannot be taken lightly. It means no one can be locked away without lawful reason, and that every person has the right to challenge their detention. It affirms that state power is not absolute, and that the law stands above even the most powerful institutions. In a world of overwhelming government authority, where individuals can feel powerless, habeas corpus is a small but mighty shield, protecting the vulnerable and reminding us that justice is for everyone. It must remain the last hope for freedom and the ultimate guardian of justice, ensuring that our rights endure for generations to come.